All right, so it is now recording.
Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. So we thought we would have a little discussion about anxiety and depression. Heather and I talked and we thought that it's pretty prevalent among a lot of NMDers. I mean, everyone can have it, but we have a lot of extra things that we deal with that can often either create it or make it worse. We've both experienced it, I think, so we just wanted to see and share our experiences and see if we can hear any of yours as well. Does everyone want to maybe go around and you can see why everyone's here, whether you want to share experiences or learn or whatever you want to do? Does that sound good?
I think that's great.
Okay, so let's start with Hannah because she came in first.
Okay. Well, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety when I was in 7th grade. Maybe, I don't know, 8th grade probably. Will be a junior in college this year. So, it's something I've dealt with for a while. I'm on medicine though, and that has kept it pretty stable. Definitely like a lot better than it was, but I mean, obviously there's still ups and downs, that I think are caused by that. And I think a lot of the stress or ups and downs or whatever come from or stem from, like issues with muscular dystrophy or whatever related to that. So, I don't know. I guess I'm interested to hear what other people say. And I'm also excited to share some of the strategies that I have found as well that help.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Who is next in? Maria?
Maria?
Maybe?
Okay. So my main experience is also with anxiety. I had medically related anxiety for a while, not necessarily as a result of my NMD, but because I'm a cancer survivor, and there was just a lot of in the year that I was receiving treatment for cancer, there was just a lot of medically induced anxiety from all the different chemotherapy and everything that I was on. And so during that time, I had taken medication for both anti-nausea effects and for just anti-anxiety effects during that period of my life. And it did a lot of good for me, but it was really hard to wean myself off of after I'd completed my treatment. And so I'm very wary of medication and really pro counseling and talking it out in addition to medication if you're near that route. So that's my experience.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. And Natalie?
Hi, I'm Natalie, and let's see. I've had a lot of dramatic life changes in my life. That sounds redundant, and I've only had a small, small bouts of depression, and it's not been an ongoing thing, thank goodness. And this summer I've developed some anxiety, and over the past year I've developed some from a really stressful school load and stuff. I don't know, I think it's mostly from being too busy and stuff, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing your stories and how you deal with it all too.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great.
Is Emily going to be here or not? Do we know?
She might have gone down.
Hi.
Yeah, I'll be here.
It's great to hear her.
Not for very long, but I have episodic depression at times. Not as much anxiety, although I would say that I'm constantly in a state of worry. I think I get that from my mother. My mother always said she was very nervous all the time growing up, and I think I've caught a little bit of that. I would say I also have a bit of like OCD behavior at times, but nothing that I've ever really needed medication for. I've seen a therapist for like spurts. So like I just got done seeing a therapist every other week for about a year and a half. And that started after my ex and I broke up. I was really fucked up from that whole thing. So I started going to her on an every other week basis just to kind of process things, because I have a degree in counseling. So one of the things I know is you have to take care of yourself, and you also have to see patterns. And so I was noticing patterns in my life that were happening, and I wanted to break those patterns, or at least be able to know when I was doing them, and then I could find a way to resolve. So I saw a therapist for that time. That was from like 2013, all through the year of 2013, and a little bit of 2014, maybe. But anyway, and then I'm not seeing anyone now. I'm just kind of journaling and doing other strategies. But yeah, that's my situation. I kind of go when I need to go, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's good.
Definitely.
Now, Donna is on my screen, but she's right now muted. Does anyone know if she's...
Donna.
I'm here. I haven't joined my phone because I guess I don't have a microphone set up for my computer.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hi.
Well, we
What's your
can hear
name?
you now, so that's good.
What was your name?
Yeah, this is Donna.
Oh, it's Donna. Okay.
This is Donna. Okay.
All right. Perfect. Would you like to share anything that you want to talk about, Donna?
I guess I've just always had anxiety for, I guess I've really noticed this with my 20s. I guess I've always been kind of an anxious person even when I was a kid. But I guess I've never tried a lot of medications. I've tried, maybe some Xanax and stuff, but I've never tried too many. I'm a little bit afraid of trying some. And so I was kind of hoping to find out how you guys cope with it, maybe what you've tried and what's helped.
Yeah, awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming. Heather, do you want to go too, or do you want me to go first? Which?
I'll go. So I have depression and anxiety. I take antidepressants, and I take anti-anxiety medication. I've had both my whole life, and I find that it comes up most in medical situations, getting my tubes changed or being in the hospital for anything at all, or I have anxiety about literally everything. Like going outside gives me anxiety, being on a bus gives me anxiety, waiting in line gives me anxiety. I am not a social person because it gives me anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And there have been coping mechanisms that I've learned or acquired that have helped me along the way, but I definitely still face these problems all the time, and I think it's important to talk about them. I definitely think that a lot of my depression and anxiety has stemmed from my disability. Yeah, I really think that that's true. Every time that I feel a little bit weaker or something, I feel very depressed about that. Yeah, things like that. All right, Brooklyn.
All right, my turn. So I've also been a pretty anxious child as well, looking back in hindsight, but it never really became an issue or like an actual serious thing until about 3 years ago. Started off as a panic attack in public, which did not go well. And from then on, I kind of just started developing anything around my medical, social, and kind of became the master of avoidance. So I also don't like going out or interacting with people as much as I can. I'll avoid it. And so that kind of has spiraled to the point where I've had to go see counselors, and I still see one regularly. I've been managing with different techniques as well, so I'm curious to see what everyone else's are. And then I've also had a mild depression, more so this year, which I've now decided to go forward and to try some medication next month. So I'm also interested to see what everyone takes and what their experiences are with that as well. That's my little blip. So from pretty much everyone, I think medication, counseling, and different techniques, maybe like meditation, things like that. Is there any that are like more, people are more interested in learning about first among them all?
Therapist is something.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Natalie.
No. I just had that. Well, you go ahead.
No, you go.
I was literally just going to ask, like, therapists, like, it's kind of hard to find somebody who's just not, like, apologizing for your disability or, like, being sympathetic or some shit, you know? So, that was all.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that when I was, like, at first struggling with this, and it was really bad, and I had a really hard time, like, reaching out and asking for help, and finally, you know, saying to my mom, like, hey, I really need help. Like, I need to go talk to somebody. And I know before I got on medication, my anxiety and my depression was not medical related. It was just, you know, like run-of-the-mill. I don't know. I don't think there is run-of-the-mill anxiety, though. You know, like, it's all very different. But it wasn't related to my disability. My mom thinks that it stemmed from my back surgery that I had when I was 8. So she sort of, you know, thinks it was like a post-traumatic thing that just, like, happened. I don't really know. I don't think you really need to know. But what I was going to say was that I was also, like, very scared of taking medicine, and I was, you know, pretty against it. But I think, like, it's really important to keep an open mind about it because, like, you know, like some stuff, I mean, I don't know how to say this. I guess, you know, like, it's like a headache, you know? So, like, you could have a headache and you could be like, oh, I'm not going to take medicine. I'm just going to suffer through it, you know, and that's fine. Or you could take the medicine and feel a lot better. And I think, like, if you're anti-medicine, that's fine. But I just think, like, it's really important to keep your mind open about it because I don't know if I would still be, like, alive today if I was on medicine. So I think that it can be definitely a scary thing and something that you could, you know, be very anti or against. But I don't know, I think just knowing that, like, it's not a bad thing to ask for help. It's not a bad thing to be on medicine. It's not shameful at all, you know.
Yeah.
So.
No, I agree. And I might just want to put this in here too. I think we'll stop recording at about 9:30, and then we can, if anyone has anything more personal that they want to share that they don't want to be on the recording, then we can talk about it then. but just so everyone knows that you don't feel any pressure to say anything that is recording. Like it's fine. We can have an open session at the end for that as well.
Also, I have to leave. I can't stay the whole time. So.
Oh, okay.
But whenever. It's just really whenever my mom gets home, and then we have something else that we have to do. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that I took when I was 14 when I first started taking antidepressants. I was put into a mental hospital for a couple of days because I freaked out about something, and it was a really bad situation. And so I was forced to be on antidepressants, but I tell you what, they changed my life. The first ones kind of knocked me off my feet. I mean, off my wheels, whatever. They made me a little bit crazy. But after that, they put me finally on a dose that made sense, and it made me feel so much better about everything. I mean, I actually felt like I had emotions instead of being stuck in a dark black hole of nothingness. Like I actually felt things, and it was absolutely amazing to me. It was the first time ever, and I agree. I really think that it's important to keep an open mind about medication because I think that it can be life-changing. It definitely was for me.
That's what I'm hoping for too. I mean, I've struggled with the idea of it for a while, had some anxiety about my anxiety meds.
Absolutely.
So I think I got to the point this summer where I was ready to just let it help as much as I can, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Know that there is a stigma, and the stigma isn't correct.
Oh yeah, for sure.
At all. So that was really, that was good. What meds, if you don't mind sharing, Heather, what ones were you on?
I originally started on Celexa, also called citalopram.
Hey, that's what I'm on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Because it made me crazy.
No, I've been on it since I was in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And I've always been on the same dose, and it's like worked wonders for me. The first couple of days are really hard because it does make you a little bit suicidal.
It changes your mind a lot.
Yeah. But I had success with it. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, that's great. I'm glad that you had success with that med. I thought that I was going to die on it. So I take Effexor now. I don't know what else it's called. Just Effexor is the only name I know. But I'm on the highest dose that they can give me, and it's amazing. It has cleared up my mind, so that's great. Welcome, TK.
Hello.
You coming?
Hello.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you. Okay.
Okay.
Well, does anyone else have any meds that they tried, didn't liked, want to share? I haven't tried any yet, so.
Yeah, I haven't tried it,
Oh, go ahead.
but this summer I've wanted to.
Yeah. I've been looking at, I think the one that I was looking at was Cipralex.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone knows anything about it, but that's the one that I was looking at first. So hopefully I can report.
Is it an anti-anxiety or an antidepressant?
I think it's an antidepressant, but it does both.
Oh, I also take Ativan for anxiety.
Oh, that's the one I couldn't take.
How come you couldn't take it? What?
I was freaking out about it. I was so scared. I heard some people say that they had a lot of difficulties breathing on it.
I think.
And it kind of just went to my head.
Yeah, I had a 0.5 dosage. It was really, really a very small dosage. And I think that I would be afraid to take a lot more than that, or any more than that, honestly.
I think that also just like talking with your psychiatrist about it, they'll probably have some good ideas.
Yeah.
Because I know like other people's experiences, hearing them like can definitely freak you out when like everybody's body is different and will respond differently to medicine. So
Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
I think did Donna want to talk?
Yeah, was Donna gonna say something?
Lighting up.
I tried Zoloft, but I only stayed on it for about 6 days because I had weird side effects, and I guess I've been kind of afraid to try anything else since then. Do you guys mostly take like child-sized dosages? I only weigh about 75 pounds, and so I'm real concerned with medicine hitting me very hard, you know.
I normally start off with a pretty small dosage and work my way up if it's not working. I've never started with like an adult prescription because I would be too scared to do that. I only weigh about 70 as well, so.
Yeah, and I doubt that your psychiatrist would prescribe. Like, I'm sure that they would take that into consideration as well, especially if it was something that you were concerned about.
I guess I'm also concerned about the breathing, because a lot of the medications are sedating, so I'm always a little bit scared it would affect the breathing. Have you guys found that to be the case?
I haven't. I have not. My breathing has not been affected.
Yeah, I haven't been affected by any medicines as far as my breathing goes.
That is what I worry about too, Donna. That's like one of the biggest things for me is finding a medication that I feel most comfortable that it won't affect my breathing, because that's one of the biggest triggers for me.
Have any of you tried Buspar?
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, me neither.
My doctor prescribed it, but I hadn't tried it yet. I guess it's just for anxiety, that it's supposed to build up in your system, but I don't know if anyone took it or tried it yet.
No,
I haven't. But maybe after too, if you feel comfortable, you can always see if the Living with MD group has had any. If anyone in there has had experience, you might be able to find a couple people.
Okay.
So oh, sorry.
You're okay.
I just wanted to kind of, one thing that when Natalie mentioned, like finding a therapist that could actually kind of empathize and understand what we're dealing with. Have you guys in situations where you've met with a counselor or psychotherapist, run into a situation where you didn't feel like that's the therapist is really getting what you were going through? Do you feel that there's a need for psychotherapy services that are disability, like from like a therapist that has a disability? Like, do you see a need for that?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean, the counselor that I went to, she was always pretty good, but like I was saying earlier, my early anxiety and depression wasn't related to my disability at all, so that I guess didn't really apply. But I definitely think, because I mean, there's so many times, at least for me, where I'm like, okay, I literally cannot vent. I mean, I can, but nobody's gonna understand me, because you know, it's like something that is so unique to my situation. So, yeah.
The one thing I've had trouble with both of my therapists was getting access into their offices. I found that was very stressful in itself, was trying to find an office that was accessible to get to. And both therapists made a lot of effort to make sure I could get in. But like just that initial barrier was a lot difficult. There was a lot of like, I felt like I spent a lot of my time in therapy kind of explaining my situation, actually being like having my situation being like understood and handled. I mean, I think the progress in my therapy would have gone a lot better if I wasn't spending my time explaining what it was like to have a disability the whole time.
And paying for it too.
Exactly.
You're literally paying by the
You
hour.
get 45 minutes of a session and you're spending 20 minutes.
There should be a name for the like time that we're having to dedicate our like to explain what our disabilities needs are. There should be like a universal name for that time spent on that, you know?
Well, and I mean, you know, and that's why it was hard, because I would interview therapists and, you know, and try to find someone, but it is really hard when you are, you know, sitting across the room from someone who just doesn't get your experience to this. And no, they're not going to get everybody's experience. I mean, when you're studying to be a counselor, you know, you're taught that, you know, the people are going to walk into your office from all different walks of life and with all different experience, and that's where you learn, you know, your empathizing skills and your reflective listening and all that crap. And sometimes it doesn't matter, but I think that sometimes it does. And so, you know, one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about, and I've thought a lot about since we started NMD United, is focusing on providing people with disabilities in our community virtual psychotherapy services. And so like I'm just thinking about, like, lately I'm thinking about grants and what we could do with that, and I just kind of wanted to get your feelings on that, if you have similar experiences or suggestions regarding that aspect. And, you know, like what would you like to see out of a psychotherapy session that you're not necessarily getting right now? So I'm sorry, it's kind of a selfish question, but
no, it's a good one.
But I think it'd be a good place to discuss it, because, and also my other part to that is, do you think that if psychotherapy was more effective, that you would have to resort to using medication as much? Because do you see what I mean? Like, maybe that there's something that we're not getting a full, you know, grasp of here. Maybe because we're missing that piece, you know, we're resorting to medication. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts. So I'm just going to listen.
Yeah.
Well, for me, talking to people has always been my, like, a dizzying thing, and like finding a universality with others, and like building bridges between my struggles and someone else's. So therapy was like the only option. And when I was younger, I came to the US, and my mom had a family therapist who she specially chose, who spoke both Russian and English, to help like us like dissolve issues that came up and stuff. And then later, for a few years, like that helped really for mostly like the assimilation and the new family kind of things that were going on. But later, like, we couldn't really afford therapy, I guess, but it would have been beneficial. And then recently I started seeing this one therapist who specializes with deaf culture and kind of disabilities similar to it, I guess. But still, I have to explain a few things. And there is a lot of differences between different disabilities. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I think Emily made a good point that it's important to get someone who has specific training on different specializations. So that hopefully it would increase the effectiveness of the session. I only have been to, I've only seen social workers. They are at our school. So as long as I'm a student, it's thankfully provided to me. But I'm very concerned about when I graduate, how I'm going to be able to afford it. Because I think it's a big issue right now.
We have counselors on our campus too, but they're so far away from like useful to me in any way. And I had to go out of my way to get even this one person who specializes in deaf disabilities like deafness.
Yeah, I find it's very hard to find any specific ones. Mine haven't been specific, but I haven't found them to be as helpful as they could be if they were specialized in it.
Well,
helpful that Jenna is gonna get into this field too. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I wonder if some of the area that is lacking is even just like, you know, when people go to school for psychology, how much of, you know, like a person's experience, a person, like how, like, is disability even covered, you know, and like, is there really even an option for psychologists to specialize in, you know, possibly handling issues that people with disabilities might come into in the first place, you know, like, it may just be, I don't know, like maybe that's like the heart of the problem, is that it's not even really recognized as something that is needed, which is not good.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would be curious to find out whether that is covered as like a unit or like as a class or as more than that too. Yeah.
Also, I am going to have to cut out. I'm very sorry, everyone.
Okay. Thank you for coming.
Yes, no, it was really fun. And can I like post something in the event thing of like some of the strategies that I use?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We would love that.
Grand. All right, it was nice to meet you all.
Thank you for coming, Hannah.
Yes.
It was nice to meet you.
Yes, okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay. So does anyone else have any experience with that for therapists then? Heather, Maria?
I saw therapists most of my life. I've seen therapists. I haven't seen any in Austin yet. But actually that's not true. I did see a therapist in Austin, but I didn't like them. Anyway, point being, most of my therapists have been really great. You're right about like having to explain my disability up front. That takes a long time and it's obnoxious. But you know, every time there's a new person, you're going to have to explain your personal history, your background, and whatever is making you depressed in the first place. So I don't see it really as, I mean, I'm okay with seeing non-disabled counselors. I see the need, of course, for seeing a disabled counselor. I get that, but I'm comfortable, you know, explaining myself to them, and you know, it's just as much a part of my life as my depression. So, but yeah, I think all my counselors have been really great, and I've been really fortunate about that. And it definitely helps to talk to somebody. I can't express that enough. It doesn't even have to be a counselor, but like definitely talking to somebody about your anxiety and depression is really nice, especially if they understand it.
Which I do think the Living with MD page honestly has a lot. Just that helped me at least a lot. Just talking to people that understand it just alleviated a lot of my worries and concerns as well.
Absolutely, I agree.
Do you feel that a virtual therapy would be ideal in your situation? Like, do you feel like that would be better than leaving your house and dealing with public transportation or whatever you may have to do? Do you think that would make it more useful to you, or you would use it?
Yeah.
I was actually even just talking to Heather earlier too. When it's the winter here, I live in Canada for any of you that don't know. But when it's winter, I have a really hard time getting out and going to see it. And so this past winter, I went 3 months without seeing my therapist because I just couldn't make it to any of my appointments. And it's very difficult to be put in that position because I was even worse because I wasn't getting out, that I needed it more. So I think definitely virtual would be, for me anyway, I would definitely utilize it.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, like even Emily said, like different, like transportation and any other things, like not just anything. It's easier sometimes and would be more helpful for people that needed it to be virtual.
My only concern with virtual is that it be secure and confidential. I know when someone brought up Danielle Shapert's practice on Living with MD a while back, there was one person, I can't remember who cautioned virtual therapy sessions like that, just because it's sort of the wild, wild west out there right now. Like, no one knows just how confidential everything actually is.
Yeah.
So if I were to do that, I would want to be sure that whatever service I'm using is completely confidential and secure.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point as well.
There's actually Jenna Luzo, who's been working with us. She actually researched it and found like a platform that therapists are using where it's a tight, secure software program for virtual counseling. And the issue with it, though, is that a lot of insurances don't recognize virtual therapy as something that's real, and so they won't pay for it. So if you're going to go see someone like Danielle Shepik, or I don't know how to say her last name, Shepik or whatever, you can't. You'd have to pay out of pocket her hourly rate and pay her directly through like PayPal or however she takes her money, and and that is not feasible for many of us. I mean, her rate, I think, is in the like $100 an hour range. And, to pay out of pocket is impossible, but insurances don't kind of consider it real yet. So I thought that that's an interesting aspect. I was wondering if any of you guys have heard of 7 Cups of Tea, and have you tried 7 Cups of Tea? And just thoughts on that, if you know anything about it.
I posted on the page, but
You posted on the page.
I saw it posted.
Okay, like you posted talking about it, or have you tried it?
I haven't yet, no.
Okay, yeah, we set up we had training with NMD United where we trained a bunch of people with NMD to become active listeners, which is like kind of like it's a really great site to get some training and counseling skills, and then to provide it voluntarily for other people. But it's primarily chat based, and so people aren't able to communicate very well. Chat is difficult. You have to type fast, and it can get kind of overwhelming. And then so there were some problems with it. It's not really taken off like we had hoped, but it is a virtual like volunteer counseling website, which I mean, as the bones of it are, it's a really great idea, and the training's really excellent. It's missing that face-to-face piece, which is kind of disappointing. But anyway, I've been really thinking hard about it, like really thinking about how this would work for us, what kind of model we would need, and like how I'd like to see it structured. And so that's why, that's another reason why I came here tonight, was just to get your feedback on that kind of thing. And I'm just wondering, like, so also I'm curious about strategies as well that are totally outside of the box. And so I'm looking forward to you talking about that as well.
Definitely.
Space heaters. I don't know why, but if I sit by my space heater and it's on, the hum of it and the warmth of it soothes my anxiety. I don't know what it is, but it does.
I believe that. I feel that way about my heated blanket.
It's probably like a sort of a meditative right, I can see that. That makes sense.
I have an addiction, a psychological addiction to my hot water bottle.
I love them. They're so great.
I got Heather hooked on the hot water bottle, but like I don't know what it is, but like whatever.
I've been independently hooked on my hot water bottle for years, so you're not the only person.
Yeah, it's weird, but whenever I put a hot water bottle on my lower back, I don't know if it brings back like womb feelings or whatever. I have no idea. But I feel like I'm getting like a hug all the time. And a lot of times I'll go outside and feel the sun, and the sun also is very like soothing to me. So I think maybe there's a heat thing. I don't know. Maybe
It's vitamin D.
yeah. So,
Yeah, no, I totally believe that warmth is like the biggest cure.
I agree.
Also, too, if you're walking outside to get the sun or whatever, too, the fresh air always helps. With me, anyway.
Agreed.
Does anyone else have any cool like things that they do? What about Donna? I haven't heard from Donna for a while. Donna?
She's muted right now.
Well, I've only oh, is she there?
Maybe not.
No? Hopefully we didn't lose her.
Oh.
So the only thing that I do is, which I mean has become a big trend, not only in general, but also in our Living with MD page, is coloring. I've been coloring a lot. I've become a coloring addict.
Yeah, I was gonna follow up on a similar comment. I was at the same hangout a couple weeks ago, and you know, I was joking around about preparing for the apocalypse. But on a serious note, the thing I do like to do that I find incredibly relaxing is doing something creative in the kitchen. So I find that just working with a PA who's good at following my directions and just sort of do this, do that, do this, do that, you know, it is soothing and quite relaxing.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely, I think it's the process probably, a lot of it.
Mhm.
Or at least it would be for me. I like anything that's like process and steps.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why.
I do yoga and I love it. And I'm not going to stop ever.
What exactly do you do for it?
So I started a yoga class, and basically it's a lot of small movement and breath control and I guess chanting, not chanting, that's really the wrong word. I'm not really sure what the right word is. So I'm not gonna, I don't know. But it's the most amazing thing. It's relaxing and it's comfortable and it helps my respiratory system, I think. And I really like that a lot. And it's funny because when I went to the class, like, going there gave me anxiety, of course, because I was on the public transportation, and then I couldn't find the place, so that gave me a lot of anxiety. And then once I got there, it wasn't accessible, so that gave me anxiety. And so, I freaked out about the whole thing. And then once I got in there and started doing yoga, I was like, oh wait, this is so much better. Like, this actually feels good. But then, of course, I left and I had anxiety going
home.
So
I had a similar, very positive experience with yoga, and I haven't been able to recreate it yet. So I want whatever you're doing, Heather. But there was a day, maybe a month and a half ago, where my office had like a staff meeting. At the beginning of the meeting, they brought in a yogi that was teaching us how to do like yoga in our cubicles. So like everyone was seated and everyone was doing just minimal movement and breathing and all that. And that day I just so happened to have been breaking in a new seating cushion on my chair. So my ass was killing me. And I was in a lot of pain. And that was making me anxious because I was like, man, I have to sit here for the next, 5 hours before I can get some respite. And I my back was hurting me too because I was just so tense from like anticipating how long I would have to wait before I could shift my weight. And then we did the exercises, and it's like it went away. Like my back stopped being tense, my ass stopped hurting. It was like magic, and I want that again. I don't know what happened, but it worked.
That sounds
Well,
amazing.
it's funny that you bring that up. When I was a teacher, we had all these like stupid staff development days, and we would have, and like they had one day that was like a self-care carnival, and they had like in different classrooms, different teachers doing like workshops on self-care. A lot of it was like tango dancing and, you know, and like yoga or, you know, stretching and like all this stuff. And you had to sign up for 2 sessions. I don't remember what I signed up for. I don't remember the first session I signed up for, but the second session was art meditation, right? So I was like, okay, I'll go to this. So I went into this room. It was, and this lady had a bunch of like objects like around the room, and I found it was like a fake plant, like a fake like flower pot plant thing with fake flowers. And she's like, okay, I want you to put this, you know, flower pot in front of you, and we're going to dim the lights, and you're going to pick up a pencil and a piece of paper, and you're not going to speak for the next 40 minutes, and I'm just going to put some music on, like some soothing like meditation music, and I want you to draw what's in front of you. I just want you to draw it. You don't have to care about how it looks. It doesn't matter. Just take the next like 30 minutes and start drawing. So I was like, all right, whatever. So, and I can't draw. Like I'm like the worst. But I sat down and she put the music on, and I'm not kidding you, like 1 minute later, she's like, okay, we're done. It's been 40 minutes. And I looked down and I had this like thing on my paper, and I was like, but I'm not kidding you. I felt like I had taken like a 3-hour nap. Like I got like totally into the zone, and I was amazing. It was like, I guess I meditated. I'd never been able to meditate before. And that was really the only time I've ever been able to do it. And I tried to recreate it, but it's really hard because like, so I went to like the craft store that night, and I bought some goofy flower thing, and I bought a whole bunch of paper and pencils, and I came home and like was trying to sit at my table and do it again, but I kept getting distracted. And I couldn't get into like the mode. So my coloring that I've been doing lately is kind of getting me there at times, but it's not the same as that day. That day it was like it was weird. It was like a minute later, it was over. It was so
maybe it has to do with like the space that you were like involved in at the time, and then being at home you're like, oh, I know everything, and there's all kinds
I don't know. I have no idea what did it, but it was like magical. I totally get what you're saying. Yeah. Every time anyone explains a meditation experience, I always like pretty much refer to it as magic. So I mean, there is something about it. It's hard to get there. It's really hard to get your head in that place.
It is.
I think writing does that for me too. I did a journaling thing where I paid $5 a month for this thing called 750 words. And you basically sign like a pact that you're going to write 750 words every single day. And you just go in, and it's like stream of consciousness, like typing, just like blah. And it keeps a word counter at the bottom. And if you do 750 words a day for a month, you get put on like the wall of fame. But if you don't do it, you go on the wall of shame. And so I was I did that for a couple of months when I couldn't afford to see my therapist. And that was pretty awesome.
I'm gonna have to go, but it was lovely talking and listening to you all.
Thank you for being here, Natalie.
Thanks for having it.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night. Yeah, I really like to write. I agree with you, Emily. I think that it puts me in the zone and it makes me feel good afterwards. Like I finally got it out of my system, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do, TK? What do you do to ease your stress other than cook?
I probably don't do that enough, to tell you the truth. That's why I just sort of tuned in today just to see what other people are doing. Frequently, I do go out for a roll around my neighborhood, which is a pretty spectacular view, and I try to just, I mean, although I'm only driving my chair with my two fingers driving along, but Maria knows how I drive my chair, and I try to push myself as long as I can, and so there is kind of a meditative effort to kind of like knowing exactly how my hand will respond to every little crack and crevice in the sideways in the sidewalk. So it's, like they say, athletes get into the zone. I'm not athletic, but I do understand that whole idea of really, really, really concentrating and being mindful about doing something of a physical nature. So I would say that's part of my routine. If I get, depending on the situation, I do find just fresh air always helpful. I also do some fair amount of writing, which some people saw today. And, I think part of the average thing, I tend to make, I try to use humor when I'm upset about things. And I'm somewhat successful there. And, I'm always looking for new ideas. So that's partly why I tuned in.
I think that's awesome. I'm always looking for new ideas too. I think that trying things out, I've done music and even music therapy. I've done writing, counseling, medication, literally anything that I can think of to soothe my anxiety. And trying new things is really nice for me because it's new and I like learning, but it also makes me feel like I'm connecting with people and trying to soothe my anxiety. And it's just, I don't know. I just like trying things. Anything can help, And I'd like.
Do you think it's like trying new things is almost like produces a rational anxiety to where you're worried about doing something new, and so you focus on doing that thing, and then when you actually do that thing, you feel better about yourself? Or
Yeah, probably that.
Even I used to take my dog for walks when I could. It was a lot easier for me to get her on a leash. I used to have like a leash attached to her up to me, and I'd be able to hook on the leash and we'd be able to go for a walk through my neighborhood. And I used to grab my MP3 player and listen to music, or I would sing Christmas songs to her in the middle of summer, and we would drive around and I would sing and walk her. And I found that to be incredibly nice. Like I really, really thoroughly miss being able to do that. I haven't been able to go solo on a walk in a long time with my animals because I have two now and they're a little bit crazy. But I think what TK said, going through your neighborhood or taking a walk, it's kind of it's a nice time. I don't do it nearly enough. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a pacer. So when I'm on the phone or whenever I'm anywhere talking to anyone, I pace. And it's really bizarre. Like in Korean.
I understand completely. I get on the phone and I love rolling back and forth. And it's nothing like being on like a kind of a slightly important business call. And you got a nice quiet apartment. And I'm just going from one end all the way back.
I know. It's so weird. Karine wore a hole in her carpet in her house from pacing.
I don't think I've done that yet. But
no, she literally had to get her carpet replaced because it's such an extreme amount. And when I'm at work, I circle the campus like a crazy person on my break. Like I don't know what it is, but like I think some of the reason why we might have some issues with anxiety or like feeling pent up is, people that don't have muscular dystrophy or neuromuscular disabilities, we don't have to, they can they can get rid of that kinesthetic energy, and like we can't. And that's
when I first got my first power wheelchair, I think I was like 12 or 13 years old. And I had 13 years of running around that I had to make up for.
Yeah.
I could not sit still for like 6 months. The teachers couldn't get me to sit still. I was just like rolling around, fidgeting, bumping, coming up with excuses. If the blind guy in the classroom needed to go to the bathroom, I would volunteer to take him down the hallway. I would do anything just to move. And it didn't matter where I was going, I was moving.
Right. And I think that's that kinesthetic side. Like, there's some people that are like, oh, I like to go exercise when I'm feeling stressed out. And I'm like, oh, you asshole. Like, I wish I could go exercise.
Yeah.
Or like, people that I love to clean my house when I'm stressed. I'm like, yeah, I'd love to clean my house too, but I can't do that. So
honestly,
it's so frustrating. And like when my house is dirty, I just stare at whatever's dirty and like pray that it gets, picked up or cleaned or washed.
Especially tidying too, like telling people where to put everything is the most frustrating task.
I can't handle it.
It is very frustrating to me living in an environment.
I had a PA one time. I was kind of micromanaging him, kind of what like Brooklyn was just talking about. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And he said, I think I just figured something out. You tell me what to do as a way of participating in the job. Even though I know what I'm doing, but I thought that was, I liked it.
No, it's true.
I know, but I thought that was an interesting comment coming from a PA,
Well, I always do the we, like, can we take out the garbage? Or, and they're like, no, Emily, can I take it? You mean, or you take out the garbage? Not we. You're not taking out the garbage.
Oh, I go back and forth. I do both.
Yeah, but it's funny. I have almost that idea where I feel like I'm participating when I'm ordering people around. It kind of helps me. But at the same time, it doesn't help me. It's like, it's very stressful when you want to be able to take care of things and you can't. And it's hard to get those outlets taken care of. It really is. I clean my computer. Like, it's like the one thing I can do, right?
I did that today.
Files on my computer.
You guys can come by my house and clean my computer. I would love that.
No. That doesn't work the same. But if I'm frustrated, I'll go through my email box and trash stuff and like organize stuff, and it's like it kind of helps, but I just wish I could like scrub something or like kickbox or something. Like it's very, very hard when you have that urge. And I think that like honestly, if you think about it, all these like other outlets that most people have are removed from us. And so my thought is, what we don't have a lot. So we really have to discuss what we do, so we can at least like come up with some plans,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
But TK's so busy.
Okay.
So
No, that's totally true. I cleaned my entire computer today. So my internet was there for 2 hours and I was like, there's no Netflix. What do I do? So I literally just sat there and like transferred everything to my hard drive. It's beautiful.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah, sometimes I'll clean my keys on my keyboard. Like I'll sit and like with like a Q-tip and I'll just go through and like clean every little keyboard key because I'm dying to do something else. Sometimes it works.
I never even thought of that, but that might work. Yeah.
Really, no, it's really awesome.
I might be trying it.
Like, it's really, I'm really anal about it when I do it. I don't do it all the time. It's like when I'm in like extreme modes of frustration.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
It's just a little bit of a smaller scale, but it's still important.
Sure. I'm trying to think of what else I do. I'm trying to think. I file my nails. That's another thing I do.
Oh, okay.
That I'll do that when I'm like, just trying to take care of something, So I'll file my nails. Sometimes like I said, I'll go around and find stuff on surfaces and try to put it away. Like I'll just go, like I'll try to clean, but it's not so good. And then I drop stuff and I get frustrated. But like if I'll go through and collect things on surface areas, and that kind of helps too.
Yeah. No, that's a good one. Those are good.
The animals help as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Brooklyn, can you have animals where you are?
No. So mad about it. All I want is a kitten. Like, my family got a kitten in September, but she's really mean, so I don't like her.
Oh.
But I really want a nice kitten.
Oh.
No, because I know you have Bean, and Maria, I know you're a cat lady. You like your cats. Do they help you guys?
I do it with him.
Yeah, I can't live without my dog. I can't. Like, I can't believe that I didn't have a dog as long as I did. I mean, I don't know what I would do without him. Like, every time, if I'm, like, choking on something, he, like, starts barking and jumping and freaking out. Like, it's so sweet. He just cares about me so much, and, like, nobody else does. So it's just...
We care.
We all care.
Y'all do care. I love y'all. But yeah, it's just so nice to have that companionship that I clearly don't have in my love life or anything like that. So it's great.
I like my dogs too. They're very nice to me.
I love your dogs. They're the best.
My dog perches. So like my dog Byron, he'll perch on my foot pedals, and then I'll say big hug, and then I'll put his paws up on my shoulders and give me a hug. And he's a very nice animal. Like, he loved Heather.
Yeah, he kept perching on my foot plate, and I was like, this is great.
Yeah, he perched a lot, and like it was funny because she had a broken leg, so we were all scared he was gonna perch a little.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna crush me, but it's okay because he was so sweet.
Yeah, he's the nicest dog in America.
It's true.
That sounds adorable.
I'll see if I can do it. Hold on.
He's the greatest. I'm in love.
Byron, come here. Let's see if I can get him to perch. Hold on.
He'll perch. He always perches.
Hold on. All right. Byron. Come perch. Aww.
Isn't that so cute?
Okay. Big hug. Oh, you're not gonna hug? You don't wanna hug? Yeah, he's perching on my foot pedal.
He's so cute. Hi, Byron.
Say hi to Heather.
Byron. Oh, look at that tail.
He's so cute.
Look at my cat. Sorry.
Lord.
He's so cute.
Aww.
It's always nice when they do adorable things with chairs and everything. Like if they adapt to us.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Animals are they're really fundamental, I think, to like mental health as well. I know they're non-traditional. Another out of the box.
I combine pacing and animals, and I force cuddle my cat and pace around my house with them whenever I just can't get out my aggression or anxiety or what have you, and it's amazing.
That sounds adorable.
I think it's funny that we're all big pacers. It's interesting I mean, I don't know. That's funny. That's really funny. We should do pacing videos or something.
Oh.
Get a GoPro and do some kind of pacing video and get it edited or whatever. That would be hilarious.
I'm all over the house when I'm on the phone. So
Me too.
It'll be the hottest new dance craze.
yes.
Do you think that people that are able-bodied, do you think they pace when they're on the phone? I don't know. I don't think so.
Do. My roommate does big time.
Oh, really?
But she
Okay.
didn't understand why I paced. I was like, I can't even explain it. I don't know.
It makes, I don't know, I love to move and talk.
Yeah.
It helps my driving too. I always, every morning on the way to work, I call Corrine and I talk to her on my drive to work. And then on my drive home, I call my dad. And I talk to my dad, and it just helps me. For some reason, moving and talking, it's like they go hand in hand for me.
Yeah.
It takes away my anxiety when I'm driving. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's what you need. Don't be anxious driving.
Well, and I think you're right when you met somebody mentioned that living with MD, I think it was Brooklyn, living with MD has been really helpful as well. Nice to be able to vent about stuff. You know, like today when I was venting about my DARS counselor, it's just nice to have people that get it.
Yeah.
It's the go-to, right?
Yeah, it really does help.
No, it's a great platform for that. I find I do that ahead of like even like some of my best friends that are able-bodied. Like I won't even bother mentioning. I'll just go right to the living with MD because what's the point?
Because they're not going to be able to answer our questions, and I
No.
Right.
Or like understand. They empathize, but they can't quite get it.
Well, I think that's more sympathize. They definitely sympathize, but they don't.
Yeah,
they probably
that's a
don't
better choice.
Empathize is empathy's hard. It's a hard thing to get because you really do have to be able to put yourself in their shoes, and a lot of people just don't get it.
Yeah.
I've been really working on trying to teach that, I guess, or not teach it, but like provide people with like insight into my life. Like I've been doing all these like little posts on Facebook lately to not just the disability groups, but to the outer groups. That's been exciting for me. I'm really embracing my inner advocate or something. I don't know what's going on.
I really liked your ADA one.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That was one I'm incredibly proud of. Like the one I wrote yesterday about the food truck one. Okay.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I was really pissed because I was reading the comments on the article, and this one woman was like, she wrote all these like stupid arguments that you would never even imagine that people would actually think. And then I was reading it, and I was like, oh man, I really wanted to respond in the comments to that woman. But then I was like, I didn't want to log in and go through the whole rigmarole of like getting an account at that whatever that magazine or I don't know what it was. So I was just like, screw this. I'm just gonna address it to the greater community. Sometimes it's like you're speaking to the choir because, you know, or whatever, saying to the choir, what is that term? But
Preaching to the choir.
Preaching to the choir, yeah. Like sometimes it feels like that. I mean, most of my friends are pretty supportive, but still, it's like, I don't know. I think it's good to educate. I don't think people realize like our bathroom issues, like the fact that, you know, like these things that come up, like they don't understand, they don't know. So
it's just, I think it's difficult to overcome any anxiety that you have about being self-conscious about your difference, as well as presenting those challenges as something that can be, you know, advocated for or solved, so to speak, so that it doesn't induce the whole, oh my God, you're an inspiration, or oh my God, I pity you type of response.
Well, it kind of happened with me on the anniversary of the ADA. The people that were responding to me were saying, you know, oh, you're such an inspiration, you're amazing. And I was like, no, I don't want to hear that right now.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I want to hear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
it's the opposite.
It's not, huh?
The opposite.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was nice. I mean, I could see where they were coming from. I knew, you know, like that they were just trying to be nice. And I think that, we talk about that all the time, like inspiration and stuff, but I didn't write what I wrote to be inspiration porn. I meant it to like provide insight into the world and not to become some kind of hero, but to kind of
nice and all, but like you're posting it because you want change, not because you want to be noticed for
like my struggle. Like it's not, it's greater than that, but I don't know. It's hard. You're right. It's a fine line, Maria. It's really hard. It's really hard to not be that, that's not what I don't know. It's not what I'm going for, but it's fine if I guess it makes people feel that, I guess better about me, but I don't know. It's not exactly my point.
No.
But I didn't want to knock them all down, I didn't want to sit there and be like, I'm not an inspiration, shut up, like I just,
That's such a struggle too, is like, when do you bring it up, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to insult them, because you appreciate the thought, just not the deeper thought.
Yeah, the sentiment is nice, but like the thought behind it is wrong.
Exactly, that's what I'm,
But like these composing these little essays it's been therapeutic for me. It's been really nice to be able to like word my essays and argue and like talk about issues, and like it's been very good for me. So I feel like I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm not gonna stop.
I wrote a poem today about accessibility. It like came out of nowhere because I got really, really pissed off because the Poetry Slam people told me that they weren't going to build me a ramp to get on the stage and that I have to perform in front of the stage. And I was like, well, they built me a ramp in DC and I'm really angry about this. And so anyway, so I wrote this poem. And my friend is like, you know what? Next week, I'm going to carry you on stage and hold you, and you're going to say your poem. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Excuse my French, but yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so that's what happened today. I was just so angry that I was like, I'm getting this out there, and then I'm going to go perform it, and then they're going to understand that they need to build me a ramp. So,
you go.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's awesome. So where are you going to be performing?
At Spider House.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come see me.
Okay. When is it?
Tuesday at 8.
Tuesday at 8. Okay.
At
night? 8 in the morning? Okay, 8 at night on a Tuesday.
Yeah, 8 at night on a Tuesday. Sorry.
I will try.
The struggle.
Yeah, this.
I'll have someone record it.
No, I think that's cool. I mean, yeah, I think, like the incident with the nail salon and the ladies like all ignoring me and like that horrible feeling. It was really sad, but then I was really having a really hard time with it. And then my friend recommended that I do something to like write about my experience, or come in. And I came up with the idea of doing like a boob cam where I put my cell phone camera in my boobs, and instead of getting a GoPro, I just decided to do boob cam. And so
boob pro.
Huh? Yes, boob pro. And but yeah, I just go. So I went into the salon and I set it up like this, and I pretended that I wasn't like. Wait, no. How did I do it? I had it so the phone was showing in, and then I was like, oh yeah, I just leave my phone here, and I just recorded it like that, and I recorded an entire like experience at the salon last time. But nothing bad happened because I wasn't getting a pedicure. But I just wanted to see if it would work, my boob cam. But it made me feel good. Yeah.
Emily, you're hysterical.
That's amazing.
You're really funny.
I don't know. I won't probably do. I get these crazy ideas. The blog was an idea, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know. I might just go get a pedicure at a white lady salon and just leave it at that.
So I'm sorry I rolled away from the computer for a minute, but a friend of mine called, and I was giving him an update on how things went with the dysfunctional eating PA today. and I was telling him how I let him go, and that I made arrangements to take him his stuff, and so I took his stuff to his house, way over on the other side of Brooklyn, and I got I called him up. I said, okay, I'll be there in 5 minutes, and he just sort of hangs up on me, and then I pull up in front of his house, and we're waiting for a minute, and then my PA says, oh, here he comes, and then he goes, wait a second, he's going back inside, and he goes back inside, and then he comes out with no shirt. And, being a dysfunctional EDPA, you can imagine his size. Maria's met him. You know who I'm talking about.
I do not want to imagine that.
Okay,
Stop.
you know what I imagine.
Right
That. But, strangely enough, this is not the first time he's done this. 2 years ago, we were having a big fight, and, and he goes out of my room, and then I said, come here, help me get my coffee, So he comes in, and now he's in nothing but his underwear. I'm like, okay, I win, I lose, you win. I give, please, I capitulate, you win, uncle, just go put your fucking clothes on and come back here.
Why does he undress in your house?
He's fucking crazy. He's just crazy, So, my friend was saying, whenever I talk to you, I always feel better, You have a funny way of telling stories. So there you go. That's another thing I do for stress relief. I make friends laugh.
That's true. Maria made me a really great playlist.
It's amazing.
We listened to it together.
Oh my God, it's so good.
And that was I bet is that relaxing for you to make playlists, Maria?
I haven't done it in a while. So, when I was in college radio, it would distract me from whatever was going on school-wise that would stress me out. It was a wonderful, wonderful release. But I haven't made playlists in a while. That was actually the first one that I made for you.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Very long time for anyone. Oh.
Yeah, it was really
I can see how that would be a lot of fun.
Huh?
Yeah.
I can see how that would be very relaxing.
Yeah, for sure. I love music.
Yeah, music helps a lot.
Yeah.
I don't listen to it as much as I used to, but I used to get me through a lot of Tori Amos.
I love Tori Amos.
Yeah, she got me through a lot of hard times in my adolescence. I don't know why, but it's funny. My coworker and I will sing Tori Amos sometimes in the office. And we sing her ridiculous lyric, chickens get a taste of your meat, yeah. Chickens get a taste of your meat, yeah. And we do these crazy it's these Fruit Loop lyrics. I don't know what it is. It's very emotional, but
Very emotional.
it's really weird. Well, I gotta get going.
Yeah, I gotta go walk my dog, guys.
Yeah, my worker's actually coming too, so I think we might have to end it here.
All
It
right.
was a wonderful
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you guys for all coming. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
Good job, you guys. You did a very good job.
Did we do okay?
Yes, we did great.
High five, Brooklyn.
Do some more.
Okay, we'll do more. We have ideas.
Don't make me do them anymore. No, I'm just kidding. I show up anyway. But.
Yeah, I'm hoping we can maybe get some people that have other
We can't get rid of it. We can't get
bipolar
rid
and
of
stuff
it.
maybe, or some other discussions.
Right. Well, I hope. Yeah, we have a big calendar to fill this next month. So think about something else that would be good.
Do it. All right, guys. Well, I hope y'all have an awesome night.
Thank you so much for coming.
All right, take care.
Yeah. See you all.
Good night, Maya. Good night to you. Good night.